Hey everybody, my name's Queso and welcome to my YouTube channel. Recently, with the holidays passing, a lot of people got 3D printers, and I have noticed a lot of people asking how can we finish our 3D prints, make them look nice. We don't have multicolored material capabilities or anything like that. How can we make our 3D prints look nice? And a really easy way to do that is Rub and Buff. Rub and Buff is a fantastic tool to use, and it makes your 3D prints look very nice. And so I'm just going to go through and we're going to talk about it. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to show you how I finish my 3D prints with Rub and Buff. So the Rub and Buff I have right here, it comes in this little container. This is from Hobby Lobby, I believe. I have gold and I have silver. Mine's really old. It goes a long way, so you don't need a whole lot. The other kind comes in a little tube. It looks like some super glue. And it, like I said, a little bit goes a long way. So you're going to need some Rub and Buff, whatever color you want. It comes in multiple colors. You can go to Hobby Lobby. You can go to, I believe, Walmart. You can go to Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you need. And you can get this. It also is on Amazon. Sorry, I didn't mention Amazon. But yeah. So I've actually started already on this chalice right here. This was just straight black PLA, and you can apply Rub and Buff however thick or sparingly you want. You'll get a different result, and you can kind of see that right here. This one I applied really strong, and then down here you can kind of see how that's like a worn gold. Okay, so that is, I just want to do an example for you real quick. This is the chalice I wanted to focus on. This is from STL Flicks. It is their Anubis or Egyptian chalice. It does hold a monster can or other pop cans for you to, have game nights with or whatever you want. These cool chalices, they're little fun things to use, I guess, if you want to make them. But the cool thing with it is they look very nice as decoration pieces for whatever you're doing. If you have like a Halloween decoration, if you're doing a game night, a D&D night, something like that, you can print these chalices off and you can use Rub and Buff to weather them and make them look very old and pretty legit. So before you start, what you need, you might want to get some paper towels. Okay, paper towels are a must. You can use them to wipe the Rub and Buff on, wipe it off, thin it out a little bit, or just clean up any mess you need. Okay, I also have some isopropyl alcohol on hand, just in case. Like I mentioned before, my Rub and Buff is pretty old, so I do throw some IPA in there to kind of soften it up a little bit, and so that I'm able to add the Rub and Buff onto my prints. If you get new Rub and Buff, it's going to be a little bit more oily and better to use than older Rub and Buff, but I just don't have that on hand. I'm going to continue using this until it's done. The other thing you can use that you might need is Q-tips. Q-tips you can stick in the Rub and Buff and you can get into hard to reach areas like right here. I'm going to have to get between those fingers and I'm going to have to apply a Rub and Buff on there. I'm not going to be able to do that with a regular brush. And speaking of brushes, when you're using Rub and Buff to apply on a 3D print, the best thing I have found is makeup brushes. Okay, and I have lots of makeup brushes, and here's a pro tip for you. Valentine's Day is coming up, all right? So if you have someone in your life that uses makeup brushes, go buy them some new makeup brushes, okay? And then take their old makeup brushes and repurpose them, and it's fantastic, okay? The paint, the Rub and Buff, whatever you use them for, applies on smoothly, and it's just a really nice paintbrush. So it's a win-win. You get new paintbrushes, and whoever you got the brushes for gets new brushes. So there you go. All right, so I'm going to kind of be quiet, and I'm just going to show you how I do Rub and Buff. So when I first start out, you might see a little bit of strings on the 3D print itself. It's pretty smooth. Okay, I haven't post-processed this at all, but I like to start with a smooth surface, and if I have small strings, I actually just take a lighter, and don't hold it on one place for too long. You could just gently go across the surface and it will take care of any little strings. Okay, and like I said, this is PLA. do not hold it in one place for too long because it will start to melt. Okay, another pro tip, if you have small edges, I don't have any on this, but if you have little edges where there's little imperfections, you can hold it on there a little bit longer and soften up the plastic, and then you can press it with your thumb or your finger, and it will flatten out basically to make it look a little bit better, and it won't stick out quite as much. All right, so I think what I'm going to do here is, right here we have the Jackal, Anubis, I believe. I kind of want to make him the focal point. So I'm going to make this pretty strong, okay? And you can see right here, there's not a lot of weathering or anything right there. I don't want that like that on that one, but on this one I think I will. I want to put a lot of gold right there. And then on the outside where the hieroglyphs are, I'm going to gently brush to make it kind of like a brushed gold look. I think that would look really nice. So like I said, I'm going to be quiet, and I'm just going to show you my process of how I finish this. So hopefully you enjoy, and I'll talk to you at the end. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm just going to dip it gently in the Rub and Buff. I put some isopropyl alcohol in there before, and it softened it up quite a bit. So let's actually watch this. I'm going to do this on the handle. No, I'm going to do it up here first. Okay, if you just gently brush. Okay, I don't want to get inside the hieroglyphs because I want them to pop. Okay, and you can just apply it. It's getting a little bit in the hieroglyphs, but I think it adds a really nice touch. So again, 2 seconds. Let me rip a piece of paper towel off. Just dab some of that on there. If you get too much, it might be a little bit strong. So you're just going to gently go over the whole entire thing and try and go in one direction, because you don't want to have too many brush marks. And you can kind of do a circle pattern too. Just know with the circle pattern, it might fill in any low spots. And if you use just a one direction motion, it won't fill any of the low spots in too much. So like I said, my stuff is a little bit old, and so it's not as nice to use. I need to go buy some more. It's really cheap. You can find it pretty much anywhere. One of the easiest places to find it is on Amazon. I can link that to you in the description though. And we're just going to go around, and we are just going to cover evenly and as consistently as possible the chalice. Okay, and like I said, if you look at that, you're starting to see some nice hieroglyphs, and that looks like some weathered Egyptian chalice. By the way, this is my first full-length video on YouTube. I typically make shorts. I kind of been doing that for the past little bit. Just time lapses, things like that. Trying to build up an audience. I figure, build up an audience. And then when I get about 200 subs, which I hit yesterday, shout out to all my subscribers, I hit that yesterday. And now I'm going to start making a little bit more videos just to see what we can do. And if you like my content, please, please, please subscribe, leave a comment, give me some techniques. I've been 3D printing for, it's about 2018. I've been doing more stuff with it as of late. I want to start going to a little bit more conventions. I think those are fun. But if you know any techniques, please share them in the comments. This is a fun community to be a part of. everybody should be helpful. You know, you're going to get a few people that are some issues, but for the most part, everybody is willing to help everybody. And it's just a fun community to be a part of. So if you're new to 3D printing, feel free, if you're new, comment and tell me that you're new. How long you've been 3D printing for, what machines you use, whatever you want. Let's just, you know, talk about stuff. Okay, and I can see that I'm not getting as much rub and buff on my brush. Might need to add some more IPA to it. Good. Maybe I just need to press a little bit harder. Also, since this is my first video too, my camera setup, I'll probably change it. I'll see what works best. I know this probably isn't the best setup. I know my mic's probably not the best. This is just the first time, and it's definitely not the last time. But we're going for it. The best way to start doing something, not to think about it, just do it. There we go. That's looking nice. Yeah, this rub and buff. I need to get some new rub and buff. There we go. And you know, you can, in the words of Bob Ross, there's no mistakes, just happy accidents. This is supposed to look old, okay? So, if something happens, like right there, I didn't want to put that much on. But if something happens, you know what? Just roll with it. You can work it out later. Fix it later. It'll all work out. Alright, so now I'm just going to focus on these little ornate pieces right here. Make them stick out. I'm not going to cram the brush bristles down. I'm just going to gently kind of go in a circular motion and try to cover as much as possible around them. If I'm breathing into the mic, I'm sorry. Please just put up with it. I promise I'll make a better video. Each time I put out a video, I'll look at the feedback and I'll try to be better next time. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good. I kind of like that. I'm thinking about making this gold. I'll put that focus so you guys can look at it. Thinking about making the jackal gold and the circle around it, the oval around it gold, and then maybe the inside would look good with a silver. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put some more IPA in this rub and buff. Kind of thin it out a little bit, soften it up. Alright, let's start the jackal. Alright, notice how when you add it too, it pops out the details. It really brings them out. You know what? That looks really nice. I like that look. Get right there, on the back side. One thing that I've learned with finishing my 3D prints and props and things like that is don't rush the process. Take your time, do everything that you can, and make sure you don't forget even the smallest detail, because you'll probably see it and it's going to bother you. I know it bothers me at least, and I know I said I'm going to make that silver. I think I can just cover over it, so we're just going to do that. We're just going to cover the whole thing, put it on strong, and then we'll come back, fix it up. I'm actually thinking about doing a wash with an acrylic or something like that right here, just to make the recesses and indents pop a little bit more, just add some more detail to it. We'll see though. We'll see how I feel about this. It's actually looking pretty good. Let's let that focus for a second and I'll do a slow turn. I actually kind of like that. That looks really nice. Let's get these ears a little bit better. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a wash, and that will make these details pop a little bit more. So let's go and do the next jackal. Like I said, we're going to make this one like a strong. It's going to pop. I don't want to see as much color through the Robin Buff. So we're going to fill in all the gaps as best we can with this old Robin Buff. I might have put a little bit too much IPA in there. That's alright, we'll make it work. And there you go. There is an Egyptian chalice. Alright, we gotta do the base. I want to do that last because I am holding on to it. Like I said, don't want too much Robin Buff right here because I want some color to show through. I want to make this look worn. You gotta kind of look and say, alright, how would this look if it was 1,000 or so years old? And honestly, the grip would probably have the most wear, right? See, I got a little bit too much right there, so we're just gonna clean up a little bit, and that's all right. We'll make it work. Okay. It's really fun with a print like this. You might not see a lot of details, but when you put the Robin Buff on and you just gently go over the top of the raised edges, you will see more details in that print. And it might not look like it's doing anything on camera, but if you just go over slowly and I'm slowly rotating it and I'm going over and over and over again, this Robin Buff has some good working time with it, and it will do stuff over time. Okay, slowly but surely. And that's with finishing 3D prints that are intricate, not like helmets or anything like that. You want to start adding stuff slowly and build up over time and layers. Some of the best painting videos I've actually seen are like the miniature painting videos, and those guys are insane. Their skills are crazy. Like the miniature, go watch some miniature Warhammer paintings, and they go slow with it, and they just add layer by layer. Some of the ones I like to watch, you got Squidmar, you have Eons of Battle. They're masters, I would say. And I know they probably be like, oh no, I'm definitely not a master, and they could name someone better than them, I'm sure. But to me, like a beginner, I would say they are they're at the top of the game for painting miniatures. Hey, Future Casey here. Just want to give you a quick update. I did the wash, did not like the results. So do not do the wash. What I should have done first is I should have sealed it with a clear spray paint, protected the rub and buff, and then I could have gone in with a wash if I wanted to. What ended up happening was I started wiping off the rub and buff. So if you want to do a wash, just make sure you seal the rub and buff to protect it. But I actually like how it turned out after I repaired it and fixed it. I think it turned out pretty good. Leave a comment below and tell me how you think I did. Thank you. Alright, so I'm going to just kind of stop the video here. I'm not going to show you the wash part because that was a disaster. I shouldn't have done that in the first place. But I think it turned out really nice. It should be a good addition onto my collection shelf. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave one down below. Think about subscribing. And yeah, be good to each other. I'm KSO Builds. Thanks for watching.